warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Selamat pagi teman-teman semua, selamat datang di Lintas Teknologi Solution Day 7 Edition, Big Problems, Smart Solutions, Can AI Delivers. Tepuk tangannya dulu dong teman-teman, boleh? Apa kabarnya hari ini? Nampaknya luar biasa sekali ya, sudah ada agenda dari pagi tadi. Beberapa di antara kita semua sudah ikutan lari bareng di fun run, fun race tadi pagi. Jadi mudah-mudahan semua dalam keadaan sehat dan juga semangat ya untuk mengikuti rangkaian acara pada hari ini. Ada hadiah dari saya, jalan-jalan ke Kediri, bawa baju pulangnya malam ini. Perkenalkan saya Daniar Akhri akan memandu jalannya Teknologi Conference hari ini. Semangatnya mana? Baik Bapak Ibu, seperti yang tadi saya katakan bahwa Teknologi Conference ini mengusung tema Big Problems, Smart Solutions, Can AI Deliver. Ini menghadirkan para ahli di bidangnya dan diharapkan kita semua juga bisa mendapatkan pengetahuan, informasi yang cukup mendalam terkait dengan pengalaman dan juga setiap solusi ICT, Information and Communication of Technology, terkait dengan perkembangan teknologi Artificial Intelligence yang bukan hanya efektif, tapi juga aplikatif untuk bisnis dan juga industri di Indonesia. Karena saya yakin Bapak Ibu semua juga paham di tengah Society 5.0 ini, industri berkembang sangat pesat, belum lagi ada banyak sekali kompetisi yang juga sangat-sangat ketat. Untuk itu butuh sekali ditopang dengan AI atau Artificial Intelligence untuk solusi tersebut. Tapi pertanyaannya, bagaimana sih penerapan AI yang tepat guna dan efisien? Ini menjadi salah satu hal yang kunci nampaknya, hal yang sangat penting untuk bisa tidak hanya berkontribusi dalam industri tersebut, tapi juga bisa sama-sama menangkan kompetisi ataupun persaingan industri yang cukup ketat tersebut. Dan Teknologi Conference ini Bapak Ibu akan dibagi menjadi 2 sesi. Untuk sesi yang pertama saat ini akan langsung kita lakukan, yaitu menyaksikan pemaparan dari para expert teknologi partner dari Lintas Group yang terdiri dari Nokia, ZTE, dan Infinera. Dan nanti untuk sesi kedua akan ada pemaparan juga dari para industri expert juga dalam tema yang sama yaitu Big Problems, Smart Solutions, Can AI Deliver. Dan sebelum kita memulai rangkaian teknologi conference pada hari ini, saya akan menyapa terlebih dahulu. I would like to extend a warm welcome to our speakers today. No, I just want to extend a warm welcome to you first. First of all, Mr. Donny Jansen. He is Head of APAC Network Infrastructure Solution Business Development Nokia. Welcome. Dan berikutnya Bapak Iman Hirawadi, Principal Telecom Architect and Business Consultant ZTE Indonesia atau ZTE Indonesia. And Mr. Erwin Filmer, Director Regional PLM APAC Infinera. Welcome and thank you very much for being here. Dan langsung saja Bapak Ibu, tanpa menunggu lama lagi, without further ado, we would like to begin our first conference with our first speakers. He is Mr. Donny Jansen, Head of APAC Network Infrastructure Solution Business Development Nokia. Please welcome Mr. Donny, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. It's really great to be here and be the opening speaker for this great event. And I really believe in the topic, right? Looking at AI, can AI help to solve some of the big problems that we see in the world today? So as Nokia, we've been working quite a bit on AI, and I'll showcase a bit of what we've been doing so far. So we have been looking a bit future looking at 2030, right? What will networks need in 2030 to meet the growing challenges? And it's really going about making sure we meet and connect the digital world with the physical world and the human world. And to do that, we'll need a very powerful network that is very different from today's network. Right? We need to make sure that we simplify the network provisioning using intent-based provisioning. We need to make sure it's secure. A lot of the data that's being sent over it for AI training requires high security, but it also needs to be extremely agile and performant. AI traffic is putting extra stress on the current networks, so having these performant, agile, and secure networks will be key for us to deliver on the AI promise. Now, where is the key focus that we are spending on? Well, we're spending it on a number of topics. Multi-cloud and convergence of the network and the cloud is a key area, right? A lot of the AI will sit in the cloud, will need the cloud to be effective. But also looking at exposing some of the network capabilities to define new business models. We want to have AI not only being used by consumers, but also in industry, driving new business models going forward. We can also use AI to make energy optimized designs. And this is some of the topics that we've been working on, but it's really important that we are looking at AI throughout the life cycle of the network. It is not just enough on putting AI into the network once it's live, but we're using AI to design the network, to make sure that we also operate the network using AI. Things like AI operations to support the operational teams to drive efficiency in the network, efficiency in operations. Right? And if we look at it very abstractly, we basically have two big topics that are going on. We have networking for AI. How do we support with the network to upcoming AI? But we also have AI for networking, where we use AI to drive networking intelligence. And this is where Nokia has come up with the catchphrase, networks that sense, think, and act. Right, where networks will really become powerful enough to become self-healing, self-programming moving forward. So two big topics, networking for AI, AI for networking. So if you look at networking for AI, what do we mean by networking for AI? It's really about how AI traffic is impacting the current networks and where we see the biggest impact, what's the impact on the networks, right? And there you can see there several parts of AI. There's the training process, which mainly sits in the large data centers, the large cloud providers. For that, we see big impact on the data center interconnect. Right? A lot of our customers are building massive data center interconnects to support the training of these models. And this needs to be high bandwidth, low latency, and very agile. The traffic is very elastic. It needs to be able to shrink and grow as the models are being trained. Now, once the models are trained, these models will be pushed out into the edge to be used for inference. Right? When we actually start using the AI to solve problems, that's where we need big bandwidth to push out the models into the network. But then once they are in the network, then we will need the customers, either enterprise or consumers, will be starting to use these models, and for that we need very low latency networks. You don't want people to wait for the answers on AI, and definitely not when we're talking industrial applications. When your drone that's flying in the sky needs to get a response for AI, it has to be very low latency. So three very different areas where AI will impact the network and where you need to build your network to support AI. Now, what do we see on traffic? And I think this is quite interesting. How is AI traffic growing, and how do we see it growing in the next several years? So we believe, based on a study that we did with Bell Labs, that the traffic for AI will be about 585 exabytes per month by 2030. This is massive amount of traffic, and it only keeps growing. And where do we see the biggest growth? We see the biggest growth in enterprise and industrial applications. These are growing today at a rate of 75% per year on AI traffic. This is massive. Interesting enough, also the traffic patterns are quite different for enterprise, where we see a lot more upstream traffic, a lot more traffic going into the cloud to do the learning. So massive increase into the industrial applications, enterprise applications. Consumer also outpacing the traditional traffic by about 25%. But what is really interesting, and I know the graph is very small, you will not be able to see it, but today in Meta, AI traffic is larger than non-AI traffic. So in a few short years, AI traffic has overtaken the actual non-AI traffic, human-generated traffic, and this is only going to get worse. Right? And if you look at Meta, their key impact on the network for AI is about pushing the models into the network, doing the inference, but also the training between data centers, as we explained. So they are seeing these traffic trends now. They are seeing AI traffic being massively growing and being bigger than their current non-AI traffic already. imagine by 2030 how big that traffic will be. Now, we can always build bigger pipes, but we'll see that this is unsustainable. So a trend we are seeing today is that a lot of the AI is being pushed from the public clouds into regional clouds, co-located data centers, and even to the edge and on-premise. Right? So we see this distribution of AI pushing out closer to the end customer, and that's for a few reasons. One, low latency. Right? Some of the AIs need extremely low latency, so they need to sit at the edge, but also security. If you talk to banking customers, government customers, for them, sending all of this highly sensitive data into the clouds is a very sensitive topic. They really do not want to send this traffic into the clouds, but want to start building AI capabilities in their data centers, in their premise. And for this, we are very proud to announce our collaboration with Lenovo, where we've started building what we call AI pods. And these AI pods are really designed exactly for that, right? To build small clusters and relatively small, so 32 GPUs onwards, where they can sit on-premise, they can sit in an edge data center to be able to have them really drive these very important different segments in the enterprise around financial services, life sciences, energy science, all of the segments where we have sensitive data that needs to be sent into the clouds for AI learning will move on-premise. And with this collaboration with Lenovo, we'll be able to provide very compact 3 racks worth of cluster that will be extremely powerful for these companies to start using AI on-premise and do their own use cases. Now, besides having these pods, I also want to share one of our use cases in the US. So this is a company called CoreWeave. So CoreWeave is one of the biggest GPU as a service providers today, and they have data centers across all of the US. So what they've been building is these big pipes. They've been building pipes between the data centers to help distribute their AI traffic across the different coasts and the center where all of their big data centers are located. And Nokia is very proud to be working with them to provide not only the optical backbone, but also the IP layer to provide secure interconnects between these data centers. Right? And this is, again, that security piece is extremely important. Once you want to start training data models, you need that secure interconnect on top of your physical transport infrastructure. Now, the second topic that I want to go through is AI for networking. So we covered the networking for AI, where we have to adapt our networks to the growing AI traffic. But this is really now, how can we make our networks smarter, right? Solving the big problems with AI, how can we make our networks smarter with the use of AI? And again, this is where Nokia came up with what we call networks that sense, think, and act. So sense means we get all sorts of telemetrics, all sorts of analytics from the network, and that's the data that we ingest. We take all of that data from the network, all of the statistics we have. Based on that, we use then our AI infrastructure to help the operators, right? We think about the problems, we make sure we find solutions, and then using that information, we can act. We can make changes proactively to the network to prevent problems from happening before they even happen. So sense, collecting the information, think, processing using AI, ML, and then finally act, actually making sure that we have solutions before the network gets impacted. Right? And AI is helping in 2 types of scenarios. We have AI to help analyze and decide. And this is really to help the operation staff today to be more clever. Right? Networks are getting much more complicated every day, where a single operation person has a hard time actually understanding what's happening in the network. So having AI to help to analyze and make decisions will be really helpful for the ever more becoming complex networks that we see in being deployed today. But we also see assistants, right? And these are the things like chatbots, right? Can we start interacting with the network in a different way? Today, we need quite a lot of skill sets to deploy optical network and IP network. What if you could just talk to your network, Say, hey, I want to create a new connection from here to here, 400 gigabits, you go and deploy all the configuration. So that's what we call the assist, right? So really helping the network becoming more clever and requiring less skills from your operational staff. Right? And this goes then around the different teams, right? The analyze, decide is really about prediction, detection, and correlation of events, making sure we really understand what's happening in the network. On the other side, the assist, it is not only a knowledge base, but as I said, a chat GTP-like chatbots to help configure and troubleshoot the network going forward. Right? And both of them are actually leveraging different type of AIs. So if you look, the analyze decide is really the classical AI, machine learning, where we really use the information from the network to make clear decisions going forward. And on the bottom, on the assist, it is really the generative AI, things like ChatGTP, where we will be able to speak in natural language to your network, able to configure it. We have a very nice demo, if anybody is interested, to show how we can configure an IP network just by talking to the switch. Right, we don't have to know any commands anymore. We just tell them what service we want, and it will provision the whole service by itself. Now, all of this AI will help us move up to the ladder of zero wait, zero touch, zero trouble. Right? The ideal use case of any operator is to have networks that can be built by themselves, can be troubleshooted by themselves, and really their customers don't need to wait. So one of the big differentiators today, if we see on the CSPs, when a hyperscaler, a Microsoft, AWS, goes to a CSP, they typically pick the customer who has the least waiting time, right? We can deliver these new services the quickest. So zero wait, extremely important. But we have to go through a number of stages to get to there, right? If you look at level 5, fully autonomous operations is still very far away. Today, as an industry, we are somewhere between L1 and L2, where we see some level of automation, but really very manual still. But the industry is moving, right? We're moving into L2, into L3, where we're starting to see the first autonomous operations really driving intelligence into that network. And to do this, to combine both of these, we need the networks for AI, the AI for networks. What we as Nokia are doing today is helping our operators define what we call the future state architecture. How do you design AI native networks to support this exponential growth? Right? And this goes across your whole network. It starts in the access, it goes to the IP, it goes to the DWDM. Each of the components will get involved in making sure we have the best possible network to support this AI going forward and help to solve some of these big problems. So we as Nokia, together with Bell Labs, are working on a number of these architectures across the world, helping to define the right way forward. And again, we're doing this across the 3 domains, access, IP, and optics, and really helping to ensure that our customers, CSPs, enterprises, are ready for the next wave in AI, are ready to drive these networks with AI, and are ready to support AI for networks going forward. And that concludes my speech. I think I'm just in time. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you once again, Mr. Donny Jansen, for the presentation. Of course, that should be a very insightful presentation that can help everyone here to finding the best solutions, especially from Nokia.